Okay, hopefully you have worked through the practice test number 3 in the material. I'm going to go over it now. I've just read the questions in the previous video in case you don't have access to them, but let's go over them. What does number 1 say? How many 2 1/4 fluid ounce bottles can be filled from a bottle that contains 9 fluid ounces? Okay, so a problem like this it smacks of division, right? I mean, I've got this big contraption that I call 9 fluid ounces, and I want to take a bunch of little ones and yank them out of there, and I want to know how many I can pull out of the big one. Okay, so I'm dividing the big one up into little pieces, that's all. So I'm going to take 9 and divide it by 2 1/4. Okay, in the videos we talked about how to do that, without a calculator, more methodically and all that, but time is of the essence here on these exams. So I'm going to punch this one in the calculator, real simple. 9 divided by 2 fraction button 1 fraction button quarter equals 4. Okay, so if we check out our choices there, choice D gives me 4 bottles. Okay, how about number 2? Again, adding 2 mixed numbers. In the videos, I kind of go over extensively what to do there with common denominators and all that good stuff. Let's just knock it out here. 1 3/4. So 1 fraction button 3 fraction button quarters plus 2 fraction button 5 fraction button 6 equals 4 7/12. If we check out our answers there, answer A. 3, a subtraction problem, right? I mean, come on. We have 873.65 minus 24.344. Again, we can line up our columns, but line up the decimals, line up the columns. We can carry and borrow and blah, 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 all that stuff we do with arithmetic by hand. Let's just punch it in. 873.65 minus 24.344, 849.306. If we check out our choices, choice B. Okay, too bad they can't all be this easy, right? That would be a nothing exam. Here's another pretty easy one. Well, with the calculator, it is, right? 50.29, this is number 4. 50.29 divided by 0.47. Again, by hand, these would all be somewhat cumbersome, nothing you haven't done a million times before, but again, speed on this exam, 107. Okay, if we check out our choices, choice D is 107. Okay, and even number 5 is, again, with the calculator, really straightforward. 4/5 divided by the whole number 4. Okay, we'll plug it in there. 4 fraction button 5, you give me 4/5 divided by 4 equals 1/5. All right, and that would be choice A. All right, so the first 5 are pretty easy. Let's hope they stay that way. Let's see what number 6 has to say for itself. A tablet contains 225 grains of aspirin. If a patient takes 2 tablets every 4 hours, how many grains of aspirin will be taken in 24 hours? Okay, well, we need to figure out how many tablets we're taking here. We know how many grains are in each tablet. How many tablets are we taking here? We're taking 2 tablets every 4 hours. So 2 tablets every 4 hours. Okay, and how many of these 4-hour segments do we have in a 24-hour day? Well, we know times 6 is going to give me 24 hours. So times 6 will give me 12 tablets in this 24-hour period. Okay, and now, but the question says how many grains, or I don't know if that's grains or grams, but it's probably grains, but whatever. How many of whatever that unit stands for are in here? Well, there's 2.25 grains per tablet, And now I have just figured out there's 12 tablets taken in this 24-hour period. Okay, so that could be thought of as denominator of 1. So I'm just taking 2.25 times 12. Those units of tablet cancel. I'm just left with grains, and that's what I want. 2.25 times 12 equals 27. Okay, so if we scope out our choices there, choice D is 27. Okay, number 7. A dieter lost 2.4 pounds during the first week, 3.5 pounds during the second week, 2.9 pounds during the third week, et cetera, et cetera. Let me just check that I'm sharing what I think I'm sharing with you, because I can't tell that I am. It looks like I am. All right. I'll be really perturbed if I get all the way done with this video and there's a blank screen, but it looks like you're seeing what I'm doing. So I'm going to proceed. Sorry about that. A dieter lost all these pounds, right? Blah, 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 blah. What was the dieter's average weekly weight loss? So how do you calculate an average? You add up all the items. So 2.4 plus 3.5 plus 2.9 plus 3.0, and there's 4 of those, so I'm going to divide by 4. 2.4 plus 3.5 plus 2.9 plus 3.0. That's all 11.8 divided by 4. So if I divide that number by 4, 2.95. That's my average pounds. So if I check out the answers here, choice C for problem 7 is my answer. Okay. Problem 8, dividing fractions. Again, in the videos, I spend time on it. Here, get her done. The clock is ticking. 5, fraction button 6, divided by 1, fraction button third equals 2 1/2. Okay, is that one of my choices? It is choice D. Okay. 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. I'm dating myself. All right. 9. What is the maximum number of 1.5-inch strips of tape that can be cut from a 480-inch roll of tape? So again, I got some big old roll here, and I want to make a bunch of cuts. The whole roll is 480 inches. Each of these little slits is 1 1/2 inch. How many can I get? It's a division problem. Take the 480 divided by 1 1/2, and that'll give me my answer. Let's let technology do the work. 480 divided by 1 fraction button half equals 320. We check out our choices there. Choice C is 320. All right, 10. An income tax system requires that persons having a net income between $10,000 and $16,000 pay a tax of $800 plus 24% of that part of the income in excess of $10,000. How much tax should be paid on an income of $12,500? Okay, so if you're making between the $10,000 and the $16,000, right off the bat, you're paying $800. Okay, so the tax, it's 800 plus something. What's the something? The something is 24% of means times of what? Of only the amount of the income in excess of the 10,000. Okay, so now you make 12,500. So how much above 10,000 is that? Of course, that's 2,500, right? So we're going to pay 24% tax on that 2,500. That sounds like a rip to me. What do I know? Taxes, right? So I'm going to have the 800 plus 24% of 2,500. So that's 0.24 as a decimal times 2,500 equals 600 So 800 plus 600 all together, we're paying $1,400. Okay, if we check out our choices there for number 10, choice B is going to be the winner. Okay, I'm still bugged that that screen is not telling me I'm sharing it, but I'm proceeding with a smile. All right, 11. Which of these decimals is approximately equal to 3/7? Okay, come on. Take 3 divided by 7 and eyeball it and say which one looks good here. So what do we get? We get 0.4285, blah, blah, blah. The only one even close is C, right? 0.43. I like these easy ones, right? We can zip right through them. So 11 looks pretty good to me. All right, 12. Prime numbers. Okay, what's a prime number? It's a number that can't be factored other than by itself and 1. What is the prime number that lies between 95 and 100? So our choices are 96, 97, 98, and 99. Just think about can I break these numbers up? If it's an even number, I can always divide by 2 on an even number, right? So even numbers other than the number 2 are not prime. So I can throw away the even numbers. They're not going to be prime because I can always divide by 2, and then that's a factor if I can divide by 2. So it's these 2 odd numbers. Now this one, I think it's blatantly obvious that 99 I could divide by 3, right? So 99 could be factored. 97 cannot be factored. Okay, so 97 would be our only choice there for a prime number, and that's choice B. Okay, so kind of process of elimination there. Okay, 13. A 3-ounce serving of corned beef hash supplies 155 calories. Approximately how many calories will be supplied by a 5-ounce serving? Okay, this is another classic proportion. It's a direct variation problem. It's just like having 2 equivalent fractions, okay? So I'm going to have this fraction of ounces over calories. So 3 ounces is going to give me 155 calories, okay, of this particular corned beef. And I'm just going to expand that fraction, either reduce it or unreduce it, whatever I'm being asked to do here. I'm going to be given one of these pieces of the puzzle, but not the other piece. I'm given, what about a 5-ounce serving, okay? And I'm missing that denominator, okay? It's just an equivalent fraction problem. Cross multiply, okay, we can drop the units now that we've figured it out. So this X will be units of calories, which is what we want, so that makes sense. 3 over 155 equals 5 over X. Cross multiply, I get 3X equals 155 times 5. What's that going to be? 775. So 3X equals 775. Divide by 3. And I'm going to get 258.333 repeating, huh? Let's take a look at my answers here. Well, I think they rounded it off, that's all. Approximately, yeah. See the word approximate in the question? So it was rounded off to 258. If you look at choice B there, 258. Okay, 14. A jogger travels X miles each morning. Which of these equations represents the number of days needed to jog 200 miles? Okay, well, it's the same idea, like that tape we were cutting. I got this tape that's 200 miles long, right? And each day I jog X miles the next day, X miles the next day. How long is it going to take me to get to that 200, right? Jogger travels X miles each morning. Which of these equations represents the number of days to jog the 200 miles? So I'm going to take the 200 miles and I'm going to divide it by X. Okay, that's how many days I need to do it. Okay, that equals the number of days. Is that one of my choices? 200 divided by X. If we check out choice B, there we go. Okay, 15. Right out of arithmetic here. Oh, baby. 176 minus negative. Minus negative, as I say in my algebra classes, is our best friend. It looks god-awful, but it's really easy because minus negative becomes plus positive. So it's really just 176 plus 64. We don't even need a calculator, but why not? It's here. We get 240. Okay, if we check out our choices there, choice B is 240. Okay, 16. Okay, 16, we're multiplying what we would call two monomials in algebra. In algebra, we really don't use that classic times sign because we don't want to confuse it with the letter X, but looks like you might be forced to see it and not call it an X. That's a times sign, okay? It's not an X, it's a times sign. 3y, I would write it in class, maybe something like this, in parentheses or some other way, okay? But we're multiplying those two things together. I'm going to multiply the two coefficients. The 3 times 2 gives me a 6, and the y squared times the y to the 4th power. Remember, when we're multiplying variables, we add the exponent. So it becomes y to the 6th. So 6y to the 6th power. If we scope out the choices there, choice B will be our answer for 16. Okay, 17. Factor, oh baby, factor. Now, as I mentioned in the videos, factoring polynomials it's kind of an obscure topic for this exam. It really is, if you ask me. Now, nobody asked me, but you're doing lots of, this is intermediate level algebra, and the stuff that's been on the exam here hasn't really been to that level. And not that it's rocket science, but it's a topic that if you don't do it every day, you forget it, especially a problem like this, okay? Because this falls into a very specific category called the difference of two squares. Okay, and if you forgot how to do a difference of two squares, you could fumble around with this and you don't have time to fumble. What it says is if you've got some a squared minus some b squared, if you have that template, something squared minus something squared, you can write the factors as this: a plus b times a minus b. Okay, now do we have that? It doesn't look like we have that, but we really do. Because 4a squared is really 2a everybody squared. And 49 is really 7 squared. So I've got something squared minus something squared. All right, so the factors are going to be 2a plus 7 times 2a minus 7, okay? Those are my factors. And if we scope out our choices there, choice D is the winner. So again, it's one of those topics that it's kind of an oddball for this exam, to be honest with you. But again, I didn't write it, but there you go. Okay, 18. A man estimates that 1/5 of his salary is spent for taxes, 1/4 for rent, and 1/10 for insurance. What fraction of his salary is left for other expenses and savings? Well, we're talking about, I've got 1/5 spent for something, okay, and then I'm spending 1/4 on something else, and then I'm spending 1/10 on something else. So I could figure out how much I'm spending, make this like a two-part problem. Add those three fractions together. So 1 fraction button 5 plus 1 fraction button 4 plus 1 fraction button 10. I'm spending 11/20 of my salary on, nonsense. What is it? Taxes, rent, and insurance. Yeah, nonsense, like I said. So what's going to be left then? Well, what's left is my entire amount. So you can think of it in one of two ways. Either I'm going to take this whole number 1 minus the 11/20 I'm spending on nonsense and see how much is left. So maybe we'll do it that way. So 1, my entire amount would just be the whole number 1 minus 11/20 equals 9/20. Okay. Otherwise, we would just say, okay, I've got a 20-piece pie, right? If it's hard to draw a 20-piece pie. 11 of those pieces are going away for other things. There's 9 pieces left. So, another way to represent that 1 would be 20 out of 20 pieces altogether. And I'm taking away 11 out of those 20 pieces, which leaves me 9 out of those 20. So 18, if we scope out our choices there, choice A is 9/20, and that's the one. Okay, 19. If 2/3 of x equals 48, then 1/2 of x is. Okay. Write it down. 2/3 of x equals 48. Of means times. 2/3 times x equals 48. Okay. When I was solving these problems in the video, I said when we have a fractional coefficient, we can multiply by the reciprocal, blah, blah, blah. Again, if you want to just think of it this way, you can. That's 48 divided by 2/3, right? With the calculator, what does that mean? 48 divided by 2, fraction button 3, equals 72. So x equals 72, but that wasn't the question, right? This is number 19, by the way. The question said if 2/3 of x is 48, then what is 1/2 of x? So I need to find 1/2 of 72, which of course means 1/2 times 72, or 72 divided by 2. I got to cut it in half. So 36. So if we check out our choices there, choice C is 36. All right, for number 19. All right, let's do one more for this video, and then we'll probably long enough. Let's do 20. 20 is one of these problems where we just got to be a little careful. Okay, I want to take a negative sign out front of a parentheses, and then inside the parentheses, I have 2 to the power 4. Okay, what does that mean? The negative's sitting there minding his own business, and I'm going to take 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's how I'm going to do 2 to the power 4. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So it'll just be negative 16. All right, and if we check out our choices, that would be choice D. Okay. All right. We will pick up here in the next video.